Lucky enough to be at the launch for In the Wake in Toronto last night. It was completely packed out. The book is already sold out across the city. It's sold out of its first print run, which is very rare for an academic text that's just been out for 2 weeks. But this is not an academic text. It has this amazing ability to be both incredibly rigorous academically and also incredibly lyrical.
The book really started with an image of in the aftermath of in the wake of the earthquake in Haiti, January 12th, 2010. And it was an image that appears in the book of a little girl, 7 or 8 years old, with the word ship on a piece of tape on her forehead. When I saw that image, I started thinking about how the sort of semiotics of the slave ship continue. And that got me thinking about what happens in the wake of those slave ships and how we're still in the wake. So I really wanted to think about wake in terms of that path behind a ship. I try to keep all of the meanings afloat in the text. The path behind a ship, funerals and the processes that attend the funerals and the sitting with the dead and celebrations. Wake as in consciousness, as in being woke, as in knowing where you are and where you stand. Also in the path behind a gun, a body moved in water. So I'm really trying to keep all of those things afloat in the context of the book. And the book has 4 chapters: the wake, the ship, the hold, and the weather. And I think of them as the sort of coordinates that position Black life from the past into the present. Living in the wake of slavery is living the afterlife of property, and living the afterlife of partus sequitur ventrum. That which is brought forth follows the womb, in which the Black child inherits the non/status, the non/being of the mother. That inheritance of a non/status is everywhere apparent now in the ongoing criminalization of Black women and children. Living in the wake on a global level means living the disastrous time and effects of continued marked migrations, Mediterranean and Caribbean disasters, trans-American and African migration, structural adjustment imposed by the International Monetary Fund that continues imperialisms, colonialisms, and more. And in the US, it means living and dying through the policies of the first US Black president. It means the gratuitous violence of stop and frisk and Operation Clean House, and in Canada, carding, rates of Black incarceration that boggle the mind, the imminence of death as a predictable and constitutive aspect of this democracy. Living in the wake means living the history and present of terror from slavery to the present as the ground of our everyday Black existence. Living the historically and geographically discontinuous, but always present and endlessly reinvigorated brutality in and on our bodies, even as that terror is visited on our bodies, the realities of that terror are erased. So put another way, living in the wake means living in and with terror, in that much of what passes for public discourse about terror, we, Black people, become the carriers of terror, terror's embodiment, and not the primary objects of terror's multiple enactments, the ground of terror's possibility globally. This is everywhere clear as we think about those Black people in the US who can, quote, weaponize sidewalks, Trayvon Martin, and shoot themselves while handcuffed, Victor White III, Chavez Carter, Jesus Huerta, and more. Those Black people transmigrating the African continent toward the Mediterranean and then to Europe, who are imagined as insects, swarms, vectors of disease, familiar narratives of danger and disaster that attach to our always already weaponized Black bodies, in which the weapon is Blackness. This is Black life in the wake. This is the flesh. These are bodies to which anything and everything can be and is done.